Okay, so when do you use ROE? The only time you use ROE to convert from what? Nuke amount to local selling fare, right? So it will show in the linear fare format. M, remember the mileage-based fare? I talked about it. What is mileage-based fare? What kind of fare is mileage? Most of mine is normal fare, right? Doesn't matter whether you make stop over connection. 10M, this means when you see this 10M in the, or 5M, 15M in the linear fare format, that means your actual flow mileage is over what you are permitted. So you are giving the what? Surcharges, right? So that's what it means. And S, remember this? It's a stopover charge. You're allowed stopover, right? But doesn't mean it's always free. Not always free. If there's charge, it will tell you how much. Okay, so those are the symbols you might see. Now we're going to do the examples. We have 5 examples, okay, guys? Do I need you to write it? No, but do you need to understand it? Absolutely. All the numbers in red, you must know what it is, how those numbers are calculated. Understand? You will be asked the questions, okay? So one by one, to make sure you take good notes. Number 1 is original one-way from Ontario. By the way, Ontario, what is Ontario tax? What is Ontario tax? HST, what is percentage? 13%. Okay, you need to know that. What is a Quebec? Quebec is PQ, right? What is a taxes in who lives in Gatineau? Nobody. Okay. What is a tax? What is a tax in Quebec? QST, GST, and QST. Anybody knows how does it work?
Yeah, 5% GST.
Yeah, 5% GST. How about QST?
15%?
Look at the notes in my PowerPoint. I think it's
9.975.
that's right, 9.975. Okay, guys, this you need to memorize. That's all I need you to memorize. Vancouver tax, don't care, because we are in Ottawa, Gatineau area. All I need you to know is Ontario, Quebec. Fair enough? You need to know that, okay? So now let's look at this one. Another thing I need you to know is that when you look at the linear fare, you must be able to write down the itinerary. Okay? X and O, stars, // For this one, what is itinerary? Ottawa to London. That's it. This is the easiest you can get. So this one, you already learned how to read. This is review. I'm going to read it for you, okay? So make sure. Ottawa, fly with Air Canada to London, England, 118571. What is that? That's a base fare. In what currency?
Oh, sorry.
Remember, this is an international itinerary. Where does it always start? New. So everything on the top, there are always 2 parts, linear fare format. Everything on the top are in nuke amount. So write notes, huh? So nuke amount 118571. What is MORCEO? What is the thing after the fare? That's a fare basis code. Okay? So M0RCEO, that's a fare basis code. Okay? Then nuke amount 118571, because this is one way. So that's it. You don't have to do the calculation, add them together. Then end, which means that's the end of the nuke amount. Then ROE. So now my question is, which ROE it is? Is ROE Canadian, ROE Euro, ROE what? Canadian, because COC is what? Canadian. Okay, so that's good. Easy, right? Now, bottom one, how to read it? Fare. I want you to highlight fare and write a note. Anything after fare is a local selling fare, LSF. That is LSF. So for this itinerary, what is LSF? Write it down, guys. CAD 1295.00. That's local selling fare. And What is color is this? It's red, right? When it's red, means you need to know how do you get it? So can anybody tell me how do I get 1295? You use nuke 118571 times what? ROE 1.09217. And you get a number, then what do? Round up to the next dollar. That's how you got it. Got it? So how do you get it? Okay? Then after that is all taxes. So did I highlight CA in red? No, it's black, right? Black means what? You don't care. Because it will be given to you. It changes all the time. You don't need to know how to get it. But why I highlight SQ? What is SQ? What is SQ? This one write down. It's AIF, Airport Improvement Fee. AIF. So, do I need you to know the number? How much is that? No, but I need you to know where does this SQ come from? Where does it come from? 23. Which airport do they charge AIF for this itinerary? AIF is on what country's tax? Canadian, right? So where does SQ come from? Ottawa. So SQ 23 is here. That's all what you need to know. The number, some students say, oh, that's different with what we learned. Yeah, it's different because it changes all the time. That's the reason why I say don't memorize the number as long as you know where does it come from. Make sense? Okay. So that's SQ. Now this one I need you to know exactly how does it come from. 299. So RC, what is RC tax? What does RC tax stand for? HST. So RC is HST. So HST, where does the HST only 299? Does international fare subject to HST? Doesn't, because it's international. So where does this HST come from? It is Canadian tax. It comes from Canadian services. I will tell you where this comes. For international itinerary, all those HST, GST, QST, they all come from SQ. They all come from SQ. So for this itinerary, HST is 13%. 13% on what? Remember, it's SQ, Airport Improvement Fee. It happens in Ottawa, right? It's a service, it's a Canadian service, subject to Canadian tax. So times 13%. So you get $2.99 RC. Make sense? So write it down. You must know how to get that. Then 216 YQ. What is YQ? What is YQ? Fuel surcharge. Fuel surcharge. Okay. As long as you know fuel surcharge. 216. I don't know. The different itinerary have different amount, but you need to know YQ is fuel surcharge. Make sense? So this is the easiest one. Like what I said, I want you to write another note. 2 parts. International linear fare format. Top part always in nuke amount. Bottom part, all taxes are in Canadian dollars. Doesn't matter it's a Canadian tax or UK tax or whatever tax. They are all in Canadian dollars. Okay? So this is itinerary number 1. I explained to you. Now itinerary number 2. This one is equally easy. The only difference is starting from Quebec. Number 1 I need you to do is write down the itinerary. So what is the itinerary for this one? How do you write it? Starting from Montreal, then what's the next city? Toronto. What's the next city? Paris. Okay, so that's itinerary, no more. But here is a connection or stopover. It's connection. That's what you need to write, itinerary. In the test, you'll be asked to do this. Understand? Okay? So how do I know it's connection? Because X flash. Okay? So for this one, now read again. Ottawa, Montreal flight with Air Canada to Toronto, connecting Toronto, then Air Canada to Paris. 1591.32. What currency it is? What currency? Remember two parts. Top part is always in nuke amount, so base fare. ML, whatever, what is that? Fair basis code. Excellent. Then nuke amount is total because it's one way, so you don't have to add together. That's it. Then ROE. Which country's ROE? ROE Canada, ROE Euro, ROE US dollar. Which countries? Canada, because the COC is Canada, right? So that's easy, right? And now the bottom part. So what is local selling fare for this itinerary? CAD 1738, right? And how do I get this 1738? How did I get it? This one, total nuke times what? ROE. And round up, you get this one. Got it? Okay? Then highlight 29 SQ. So now I'm going to ask you, where does this SQ come from? Which cities? Which city? For this itinerary. SQ is AIF. So SQ29 comes from which city? Which one, Nikki? Montreal, yes, absolutely. And Toronto. Why Toronto here?
Because it's connection.
That's right. Toronto is the only city connecting is still charged. So, make sense here? Okay, that's actually one question in the test. Okay, now that's done. And how about RC? Where does this come from? RC, what is RC? RC is HST, isn't it? HST is 13%. Some students say this itinerary start from Quebec. Why there's a HST? That's right, because Toronto. So 13% times is 0.52. So how much is the AIF in Toronto? I need to calculate.
It's a connection.
Yeah, it's $8.
$8 for
Eight.
connection in Toronto.
Why?
No. You need to, this divided by this. How much is it? 0.52 divided by 0.0.
We'll learn the connection.
Yeah, it's 8, but it changes. The number changes, right?
Don't.
They don't stay all the same.
Okay.
How much is it?
We might want to.
Yeah. So let me do. Okay, it's $4. It's $4. Do you have to remember this? No. Yes.
So why do they make us remember the numbers through the last 2 semesters?
Very good question. Why do you ask you to remember? Because in the beginning, when I ask you to learn how to do the calculation, it's easier to have a fixed number. Because if it changes all the time, you get confused so often.
Okay.
But now we're in level 3, and because the reality is the tax changes all the time, then that's why I don't need you to memorize. I just need to know how it is calculated.
Okay.
Make sense? Okay? So that's 13% times $4, you get 52 cents RC. Because $4 is in Toronto, it's HST. Now, where do you get XG? GST, 5%. Where does that come from? You just tell me, where does it come from?
Quebec.
From Quebec. Because remember, Quebec, you have how many taxes?
2.
2. So one is GST, one is QST. That's why you have an XQ as well. QST, 9.975% times $25. Okay? So guys, this one, you don't have to memorize. As long as you know where does it come from.
Where did the 25 come from? Sorry.
Where does it come from? I did a calculation. $1.25
Yeah.
divided 5%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did it the other way.
Okay.
So, but I don't expect you to do that. As long as you know how this is calculated, it'll be fine. Okay? Make sense? Now do you know why does it come from? Where does it come from? Why there's RC, there's XG, and there's SQ? Because they are connecting Toronto, AIF, Canadian Ontario taxes, subject to Ontario services, subject to Ontario tax. And AIF in Montreal, Quebec services, subject to GST and QST. Okay? The last one, 238. What is that? What is 238? Fuel surcharge. Okay, when that's black fuel, the huge amount is fuel surcharge. Are we good with this? Let me take a picture. Okay, are we good with this? Are we good? So I need to take a picture so I can. Okay, so that's good. And now number 3. Yes, go ahead.
How did you get the $4?
$4 again. It's I know this number. I use this number divided 13%. I got it. Because 13% of what? You get 52 cents. You divide it the other way.
I thought it's SQ times 13%.
Yeah, exactly. SQ is $4 times 13% is 52 cents.
But it says 29 in the
Oh, 29 is a SQ in Montreal plus SQ in Toronto. Right, so one is a $4 Toronto, one is 25 Montreal. Okay? This is a little complicated, but do I expect you to do the calculation? No. But do you need to know where does it come from? Yes. Fair enough, this one? Okay. And next one. Next one is this one is a circle trip with stopover charge. Okay, this one. And in the test, I believe, no, in the test there's one like this. Okay. So original in Ontario, circle trip with stopover charge. Now, step 1. What is step 1 I need you to do? Write down the itinerary, okay? How do you get the itinerary? So, how do you write it? Exactly like what I write it. So, first city is where? Ottawa. Next one is where? Next. BJS. Next. Where? YVR. Next. YOW. Perfect. First of all, you write all the city. Now, the second step you need to tell me is connection or stopover. So, Toronto, tell me is connection or stopover. Toronto, is connection or stopover? Stopover. Why is stopover? If it's connection, what's going to happen? X/. That's right. Perfect. So this is stopover. And Beijing, BJS is what? Stopover, point and turnaround. Vancouver, stopover. Perfect. So you see, you got yourself 0.5 in the test. Okay, so that's how this works. And next one is to read. Ottawa, fly with Air Canada to where? Toronto, stopover. Toronto, Air Canada to where? BJS, Beijing. And Q. What is Q? Q is surcharge. Okay, Q is surcharge. Okay, surcharge from where? Ottawa to Beijing. Surcharge 1373. That's in what currency? Two parts. Remember I said everything on the top in what currency? Nuke amount. So that's in nuke amount. Okay. So 1373 nuke amount surcharge and 78742. What's that? That's a base fare. From where to where? Ottawa to BJS. So this one, Ottawa to BJS is 78742 nuke. Okay, what is fare basis code? Outbound. Q QLCN. That's a fare basis code, outbound. Make sense? Okay. Now, inbound. Inbound is Vancouver, and again, inbound has what? Surcharge as well, right? 13.73. And what is the inbound price? How much is that? It's the same thing, right? No. What is fare basis code? QLCN. Perfect. That's easy. We learned it before. And you see the highlight one, 1S9156? What does it mean? Remember the first page, symbols, S means stopover. So you are charged one stopover for how much? 9156. What currency? Nuke amount again, because everything on the top is nuke amount. So 9156, nuke amount. That's a stopover charge. Make sense? They are not Canadian dollars. Because they are on the top, they are still nuke amount. So then total 1693.86. Can anybody tell me where did I get that number? Veronica?
You take the new amount and you multiply it by the rate of exchange.
No, not yet. This number, 1693.
You add the outbound and the inbound.
You add all the numbers together. You add 1373, 787.42, 1373, another 782.42, and also what? Stopover charge. You add all the numbers together. Then that's a nuke amount. Okay, before we haven't done the exchange yet. Then you know this one. Then because it doesn't mean anything, so you have rate of exchange Canadian. You times this, you get what? How much is a total itinerary, including surcharge, including stopover charge? It's 1850 Canadian. Make sense? So how do I get this 1850 Canadian? How do I get it? CAD 1850. I got it from 1693.86 times 1.09217. Then round up. Make sense? Make sense here? Okay. So very good. You see, I highlighted. CA not highlighted, don't care. SQ highlighted. So my question is, where does this SQ come from? Where in this itinerary, where does SQ come from? Just tell me the city. Ottawa, good. Toronto, good. Vancouver, good. That's it. In the final destination, Ottawa, do we charge AIF? Final destination, no. So perfect. You just got yourself another half mark, okay, in the test. So, do you need to know which one, how much? Don't worry about it. No, I'm not going to ask you, okay? And RC, where does this RC come from? Where does this RC come from? From which two cities? Ottawa and Toronto, okay? Where does that XG come from? Which city? Vancouver, excellent. 5%, Vancouver. Okay, that's all you need to know. How do you get that number? I don't care. It's just you know where does it come from. You understand, okay? Then YQ, what does YQ mean? Fuel surcharge. Good. Understand this? And now my question is, what currency are this? They're all Canadian. Like what I said, all taxes are Canadian. Yes?
So on the board, is that what you want it to look like on the test? Like,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This one, you must be able to write the itinerary. And this one will be short answer questions. Like this. I'm going to ask you, where does SQ come from? You write down the cities. Okay? I'm going to ask you, how do you get this number? You write this. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. Next one. This one is outside of Canada. This one is a little bit, what time is it? Oh, I'm good. So this is outside of Canada, starting from Paris to Toronto, okay? So this one, Paris, Air France to Toronto, M. What does M mean? Mileage-based fare. So this means this fare is not a routing-based fare anymore. This is a mileage-based fare. Okay? Guys, you must take notes. Okay? If you don't take notes in the test, you have no clue. Okay? So M means mileage-based fare. So means from Paris to Toronto, this fare is not routing-based, it's mileage-based. And do you see 5, 10, 15 before M? Do you see it? Which means this one is no surcharge. Right? When you see 5 or 10 or 15 before M, it means there is a surcharge, you fly too much. But for this one, you are within, your TPM is less than NPM, so no surcharge. Make sense? And Nuke amount, so this ROE, which ROE is this? Which country's ROE? Euro, because starting from Paris, it's not ROE Canada anymore. So you see here, now I'm asking you, what is local selling fare for this itinerary? Local selling fare. Remember, local selling fare, you're looking for which word? Fare. You're looking for fare. Anything after fare is your local selling fare. So, local selling fare is a euro 32.46. Now my question is, how did you get this one? Nuke amount times ROE, you get local selling fare. Remember last class we did it? So now, this is how you got it. And the next one, EQU, I want you to write it down. It's equivalent. Because, remember, last class we did step 1 to here. Step 2 to here. Then step 3 is you need to convert local selling fare to Canadian dollar. That's equivalent. Because this itinerary starts outside of Canada. The local selling fare is not in Canadian. Doesn't make sense. We need to pay by Canadian. So you need to know the base fare equivalent to how much in Canadian. Okay? Then all the taxes. Do I need you to know? No. But what currency are they in? They are in Canadian. That's what you need to know. Like they are all not Canadian taxes, but they are in Canadian dollar because they have been converted. Because otherwise, you are adding apples and oranges together. Can't mix. You have to add Canadian dollar with Canadian dollar together. Make sense here? The last one. The last one is mix of mileage and routing-based fare. This one is, you will definitely see in the test, this one, okay? What this mean is, like what I said, remember I said combination. You can combine weekend and weekday together. You can combine L class and Q class together. And you know what? You can even combine mileage-based fare and routing-based fare together, okay? That's an example. So now I want you to do is, because this similar one will be in the test, I want you to write down the itinerary by yourself. I give you an example, I want you to write it down by yourself, and I will say whether you can do it. And I will write down the whole process here, so give you the example, okay? And if you already finished the itinerary, just keep going with all the red one and see whether you can answer it. Because I've already explained to you, and then use this as example and see what does this red one mean? Where does it come from? Each one means something. Okay. And if you can get this right, automatically in the test you get the 2.5% out of 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know that, make sure you study. I'll just tell you right now. And each red one, either tell me what is it, or how do you get it.
Try to figure it
Take some notes. Yeah.
One cue is the fuel.
So how do you eat it afterwards?
It's good.
You just eat like that?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. They're
Just
not
two
like
teas.
frozen solid, they're just like freezing cold.
I know. My teeth hurt already. Wow. Okay, so good. And so are you comfortable with this? Yeah? Okay, so let's see whether you got it right. Okay? So itinerary. So this one worth 0.5 right here. So Ottawa, first of all, write down all the cities. What is next one? Toronto, next one? Paris, next one? London, next one? Toronto, next one? Ottawa, right? Okay, so you write down all the cities. Good. Now, next one, you need to write down connection or stopover. So in Toronto, it's a connection or stopover? connection because you see X slash, okay? So X slash means connection. Excellent. Next one, in Paris, is stopover or what? Point of turnaround, stopover. How about London? This here, I need you to write down. What does slash dash mean? Around. So you need to write down here slash dash as well. Okay? Because otherwise, if you don't write this down, I will think you're flying from Paris to London. Okay? So this is next one. London is starting. We don't write anything. How about Toronto? Stopover or connection? It's stopover because if it's a connection, what's going to happen? There will be X slash. Okay, perfect. Do you get this right? Good for you. Excellent. Next one is all the symbols. Okay, X slash means connection. M, what does M mean? Mileage-based fare. Mileage-based fare. And do you see 5, 10, 15 before?
No.
No, so this means no surcharge. There's no surcharge because your TPM is less than your NPM. No surcharge. Okay?
What does JFF mean?
Very good. So what does JFF mean? What did you write?
Maybe a surface segment or
That's
something.
what I said.
What did you write? Huh? That's right. JFF is a fair basis code. So what does it mean is anything after the fare, it's a fair basis code, right? So JFF, outbound fair basis code. Excellent. Then slash dash means what? Around. Okay, AR and K. Okay? Open job. Then what is this? QKW. Oh. Okay, what does this mean? This is an inbound fair basis code. Okay? And 1S4578, what does it mean? One stopover charge. One stopover charge for how much? How much? Dollar. What currency? NUC. So NUC amount 4578. Got it? Excellent. So you see? Pretty good. Now, that's all top, right? That's all top part. It's all NUC. Now we go bottom. Bottom part, CAD 4545. 5445, okay? So, how did you get this number? You use which number? NUC 498547 times what? ROE. Which country's ROE? Canadian is 1.09217. Okay? This one you need to know, eh? Okay? Then you round up. Good. Now, next one, 52SQ. Remember SQ? Do I need you to know the numbers? What do I need you to know? Where does it come from? So, SQ, where does it come from? Ottawa, yes? Toronto, yes? Toronto, so yes. So, Ottawa, Toronto connection, then Toronto stopover. Make sense? So that's where does it come from. How much? Don't care. I need to know where does it come from. Okay? Then 676 RC. Where does it come from?
Surcharge.
That's right. So it's a 13% on SQ. Which SQ? Ottawa, Toronto, and Toronto. Okay? So that's it. So it's exactly 13% on $53, right? And what is YQ? Fuel surcharge. Well done. If you can get this done, you got yourself 2.5% out of 20 for the test. Make sense? Clear? Excellent. I need to take pictures. Admiring my writing. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So is this difficult? No way. As long as we understand each part, we'll be fine. Huh? Are we good with this? Are we good? Comfortable answering questions, writing this? All good? Okay, excellent. Now, perfect timing, okay? Now I'm going to talk about the test. So now the test will be based on whatever we have been learning till now. From week 2 till now.
So code.
Yeah, all the codes, I'm going to talk about each one. So make sure you write notes. These are the key points. But I'm going to explain how it's going to show up in the test, okay? So number 1, all week 1 to 5 airport city carrier codes. And the question will be very similar to your quiz. Very similar. And there will be a couple of 2 questions with a map. That's why I said you must be able to locate on the map. For example, I give you a map of France. Then I will say, which of the following, I will point A, B, C, D on the map. I will say, Nice, NCE. Which one is NCE? So you need to know, Nice is down south, not up north. Okay? So that's typical questions. Make sense? So when you study the codes, you need to know where are they located. Okay, that's good. And also for the carrier codes, the question will be very similar. The question will be, which carrier's headquarters is in Paris, or in Qatar, in Doha, or whatever. Okay, some question like this. Or which of the following airlines is not member of Star Alliance or SkyTeam? So those will be covered by the codes. Okay. And then OTT training. Okay, OTT training, there are 4 of them. Okay, there will be around 20 questions, about 20 questions, and those questions, 80% of those questions are directly I copy paste from those questions when you pass, when you learn the training, and those questions. So make sure you go back and look at it. And remember, I talked about that. The questions like this will not be tested. How many daily flights to London does Lufthansa operate? I'm not gonna ask you those questions. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? The question will be general questions. Okay? For example, which question? For example, what is I think it was the Etihad one. What is the capital of UAE? That's one question in the Etihad one. So the general question, okay? You don't have to remember this, how many flights, how many the miles, the frequent flyer. Those no, okay? General questions, okay? And week 2 to 5 in class PowerPoint, I cannot emphasize how important in PowerPoint because we don't have menu. Everything is on the PowerPoint. If you want to do well, print all the PowerPoint, study based on that, and put all your notes together, okay? And industry news, every class there's industry news. Do I dig into very details? No, but everything I talk about in class, if you are in class, you should be able to answer it. For example, I might ask you, which country's passport, which of the following countries allows you to travel the most amount of countries without visa? Did I mention today? Yes, I did. Okay? Something like that. And this one, Air France, KL, British Airways, Lufthansa. route map. Remember in class, we didn't have time. I asked you to do the outside. This is in week 2 PowerPoint. All I need you to know is, for these airlines, what are their non-stop flights to Canada? Only to Canada. Make sense? Only to Canada. So for example, I might ask you, which of the following cities Air France does not operate non-stop flight to? I gave you Toronto, I gave you Montreal, I gave you Vancouver, I gave you Calgary. So which one does not? Calgary, okay? So you need to know the route map. This is not hard, not US cities, only Canada, okay? Because many of those airlines only operate 1 or 2 cities. And these other things will be tested. London airports, how many airports in London? Okay, I talk about that. There's a map in week 2. International dateline, what is international dateline? Okay, the basic idea. Global indicator, I talk about that, right? ATPA, right? You need to know, I give you the itinerary, you need to know what is global indicator for this one. And IATA conference area, which countries are covered by which conference area? So I give you your flight from Ottawa to Geneva. What is conference area you are traveling? Area 1 to area 2, okay? And EU and Schengen area, this one, do I need you to list all the members? No. But this is what you need to know. I give you the city, countries. You need to know, does it belong to Schengen area? For example, I can say, which of the following countries is not part of Schengen? To identify, you don't have to list. Especially, I pay attention to those countries, they are EU, but they are not Schengen. They are not EU, but they are Schengen area. So which country is not EU country, but Schengen area? Norway and Switzerland, something like that. Make sense? Okay. And the class of service and lounges, I talk about that in class, in the PowerPoint. Baggage allowance, did I mention that? When it's connection, when there's stopover, what's the difference? International fare construction, this one, remember those 3 steps? Nuke amount, all this ROE, the formulas, that one's, okay? International fare types, did I mention that? Mileage-based fare, routing-based fare. What is mileage-based fare? What is routing-based fare? Okay. What's going on? Okay, now, American Airlines Air Tariff, did I mention today? All those ones. Did I mention how to read it? What decides seasonality? What decides weekday, weekend? Which segment? Okay? What is the minimum stay? What is maximum stay? What is stopover? And international fare rules. Did I mention? Yes?
Because do we miss class for Thanksgiving? The Monday?
Yes, we missed Monday, but Monday we didn't teach anything new. So nothing will be covered. Nothing will be tested on Monday.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And so international fare rule. Remember today we talked about that? And this one, linear fare format. If you can get this done, you get yourself 2.5 out of 20. That's all I'm going to test you. Be able to read, be able to explain, be able to write down the itinerary, be able to understand what are these. Make sense? Okay, so I think you're good. And this one, there are 15 to 20 questions based on this. Air Canada, WestJet fare options. Did anybody try to go back and have a look? You did, okay? So this one, like what I said, there are 15 to 20 questions. What I will do is I give you the reference page. Then I will ask questions based on that. So my suggestion for you is go back to week 4 PowerPoint, look for those 2 websites, and study those ones. You know what? I'm going to show you. One is Air Canada fare options. This one, browse our simplified international So this one, that's one. Okay, you need to be able to understand. Do you need to memorize? No way. Your job is to understand. And move your cursor to each of this to understand what this for, because in the test you will be given this page together with all the small printings. Then my question will be based on that. So your job, go home and read this, understand, make sure you understand. If you don't, ask me. Next class we might give you some time to review this one. That's Air Canada 1. Then there's WestJet. WestJet fare options. This is not the page. The page is, you need to click fare options. This is the one. There's another page, reference page, with all these ones, and questions will be based on this. Okay? Make sense? So that's, like what I said, there are 15 to 20 multiple choice questions on that. Oh my. Sorry. So, make sense? Next one. So here is how the test is going to be. Multiple choice question, there are 90 multiple choice questions. All those multiple choice questions will be based on all those knowledge, all those points I mentioned. So when you study it, it's multiple choice form. Each one is worth 0.15, so total is 13.5. And short answer questions, this one, by the way, the multiple choice question, you will be doing that on your laptop. So if you don't have laptop, I can't help you, okay? So make sure you get your laptop next week. You must write those on laptop. And part 2 is on the paper. I'll print it. Short answer question, 6.5. 2.5 is here, huh? Okay, those are 2.5. So number 1, this one is a 1.5, I think. Explain a concept. So I give you 3 concepts. Mileage-based fare. What is mileage-based fare? Go back to my PowerPoint. There's one. And the Airfront Premium Economy Class of Service. What are the benefits? Go back to the PowerPoint. There's a video. Major gateways in Canada, USA. Week 2, PowerPoint talks about all those gateways. So you will study all 3. In the test, you will be asked to do one. Be chosen by me. So which means you better study all 3 because you don't know which one. Remember, you don't select, I select. So study all 3 because one of them will be in the test. It's not a lot, right? So that's number 1. And calculate international base fare. This one, exactly the same, very similar to the workshop I gave to you last class. I handed it back, so go back, study step 1, 2, 3. This one is 2.5. And the last one, 2.5. So 2.5, 2.5, 1.5. Wait a second. 6.5, 2.5, 2.5. Yeah, okay, 6.5. Okay, so that's all the tests. Okay, clear? Clear? Okay, so now the homework. Homework is study week 5 city goals. Remember, week 6 is not covered in the test. Only week 1 to week 5. There are a lot. Especially the carrier code, there are a lot. Okay? And OTD, Japan Airline. Okay, study Japan Airline. So when you do the OTD study, go back. Look at those questions again. Okay? And then good luck and study, okay? Study based on my review list, and then you will get a good mark, okay? So see you next week. Any questions, let me know.